Why do you keep speculating in a space like this? Within scams and ruggers and things. Damn me, you be getting liquidated by pretending efficiency and the useless tokens like this. Why did you quit so that and they give you your back? So shout to the somebody. Shout till it's just a lie. It's just a real call. I can do say how deep in your eyes. Embrace the light. Come, let's hang around under the light. I'll have it to you. Embrace the light. Finish on my wild. Salute the light.
Embrace the light, motherfucker.
Why do you keep speculating in a space like this? Within scams and ruggers and things. Damn me, you be getting liquidated by pretending efficiency and the useless tokens like this. Why did you quit so that and they give you your back? So shout to the somebody. Shout till it's just a lie. It's just a real call. I can do say how deep in your eyes. Embrace the light. Come, let's hang around under the light. I'll have it to you. Embrace the light. Finish on my wild. Salute the light.
Embrace the light, motherfucker.
Why do you keep speculating in a space like this? Within scams and ruggers and things. Damn me, you be getting liquidated by pretending efficiency and the useless tokens like this. Why did you quit so that and they give you your back? So shout to the somebody. Shout till it's just a lie. It's just a real call. I can do say how deep in your eyes. Embrace the light. Come, let's hang around under the light. I'll have it to you. Embrace the light. Finish on my wild. Salute the light.
Embrace the light, motherfucker.
Why do you keep speculating in a space like this? Within scams and ruggers and things. Damn me, you be getting liquidated by pretending efficiency and the useless tokens like this. Why did you quit so that and they give you your back? So shout to the somebody. Shout till it's just a lie. It's just a real call. I can do say how deep in your eyes. Embrace the light. Come, let's hang around under the light. I'll have it to you. Embrace the light. Finish on my wild. Salute the light.
Embrace the light, motherfucker.
Okay, can you hear the sound now? Is there sound now? Does it sound now? Can you hear it? Can you hear me now? All right, beautiful. So I'm gonna roll the intro again. Okay. How unprofessional of me. Ah! Anyways, yeah, now that that has happened, I guess I have to roll the intro again so I can start this and I can do the proper introduction to the stream. But thanks for joining. If you're just joining us, I have to roll the intro again, and so we can get this all started, especially for those that are gonna have to watch this in form of replay and will not be watching the live version of it. So I'm gonna be rolling the intro right now. Why do you keep speculating in a space like this? Written scams and ruggers and things. Damn me, you be getting liquidated by pretending efficiency and them useless tokens like this. Why don't you quit so that and they give you your bags and shout that there's some money? Shout till it's just a lie, it's just a rien encore, like I'm too sympathy. Deep in your eyes, embrace the light. Come, let's hang around under the light. I'll have it for you, embrace the light, finish on my way, salute the light.
Embrace the light, motherfucker.
Welcome to the Lite Hour live stream. I am your host, Raphael, and the Lite Hour live stream is a Litecoin dedicated live stream that we host on the Flipping Finance page every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 5 p.m. EST. Now, this is a Litecoin dedicated live stream that, of course, is centered around promoting and furthering the Litecoin conversation one way or another. And today, we're actually talking about a very interesting topic, right? A very interesting thesis that was put forward by a very valuable member of the Litecoin community. Of course, he is earned, not gifted. So he put out a thesis, a very beautiful thesis that we're going to go through right now, which is the psychology of rotation. And for those that don't know, Earn Not Gifted is actually a very valuable member of the Litecoin community and has put forward so many brilliant theses that have gone a long way in explaining the Litecoin value proposition to people and helping keep the community together in a way where people are very educated and have better understanding about the value proposition behind Litecoin and the possible fundamental drivers of adoption and, of course, speculative interest. So this thesis that we're going to be going through today, of course, is a very interesting one. But before I go into that, I want to say welcome to you if you're just joining us. If this is your first time, once again, this is the Flipping Finance page. You can find us Flipify on X. It's Flipping Finance on YouTube. So give us a solid and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if this is X, then you need to follow the page so you do not miss any stream. Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, 5 p.m. EST. Very important. So before I go into what we are talking about today, I have an important announcement to make. Okay, I have an important announcement to make, and the announcement is that this is the last glitchy live stream. So there might be some glitches in today's live stream, but it is the absolute last because ta-da! Can you see it? We just got our Starlink, guys. I don't know what to say, honestly. I'm very excited. I mean, obviously, I am excited. So we got a very generous donation from a very important person in this community. But they
chose to stay anonymous, and it's actually been very instrumental because that's the way we were able to purchase this, right? And this is Starlink, everybody. So of course, it means that we're definitely going to be getting better streams with less glitch going forward. And I just want to say to that special person, right, that special community member, you know who you are, that helped fund this thing. Uh, Thank you. Honestly, that's all I can say. I'm so excited. I've been excited ever since the whole process of trying to procure this has been put in place, has been set in motion. But I've sort of like contained my excitement up until the moment where the Starlink thingy itself arrived. And now that it's here, I'm actually pretty excited. Honestly, I don't know what to expect, but I definitely know that the streams are gonna get better. And guys, this thing is heavy. I'm not even, bro. Like, this is this is this is heavy, bro. I never expected this thing to be this heavy, anywhere close to being this heavy. It is like freaking. I don't. It's either heavy or I'm weak as fuck. But whatever it is, again, once again, shout out to you, who helped sponsor these. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I'm very appreciative. I'm very excited, and I really this is gonna go a very long way towards helping the stream. Uh, well, stream properly, which is at least the bare minimum requirement for streams. God damn, the ISPs in Nigeria have set the barrier so freaking low that it's such a great achievement to just have smooth sailing streams. But yes, it is. It is, and it's something that I'm very excited about. So once again, thank you very much. God bless you. I'm very happy for these, and yeah, I'm gonna get it set up tomorrow. So if this stream glitches, don't worry. It's the absolute freaking last. Anyways, with that gun out of the way now, I wanna show something to you guys in case you're wondering what I am putting on right now. I am putting on a Litecoin merch, and I'm gonna show you guys right now in case you're new in this Litecoin space, and you gotta for yourself. You gotta. So Bitcoin, Litecoin, the Sayans. So I got this. It was a very, very generous gift from 84 million. And if you want to get these or other very cool Litecoin merchandise, then you definitely need to go check out 84 million. .com/shop. Now, I'm going to be very clear that 84 million are not a sponsor of this podcast, and this is not a sponsored recommendation. They're, the founder of 84 million is a friend of mine, is a very great person, and has been a huge supporter of me ever since the very beginning. And so yeah, I think it's and they make very good stuff, right? I'm putting on their hoodie, their sweatshirt right now. I think it's very great. So if you're new in the Litecoin space, or you actually are interested in getting something Litecoin, you need some really cool Litecoin merchandise, then you definitely need to check them out, 84million.com/shop. And today we're going to move straight to the topic of the day, what we are supposed to talk about. And that is the psychology of money by earned, not gifted. Now, I think I'm going to quickly show who earned, not gifted is before we go ahead and talk about the thesis itself and exactly what it's talking about. Because yeah, if you are not following the dude and you're a Litecoiner, you're probably gay. No, but jokes apart, right? Jokes apart. He is a very brilliant mind. There are lots and lots of brilliant minds in this space. There's Earn Not Gifted, there's Toad, there is Master, there is Christopher, there is Discover Litecoin, there's CryptoCon. There's a lot of very intelligent people here, but Earn Not Gifted, he's actually a very dedicated guy. This dude's been grinding hard in the space, really sharing very intelligent theses and ideas around possible drivers of speculative interest and general monetization adoption of Litecoin. So he's definitely someone that you need to follow if you are interested in Litecoin, because we're going to be going through his thesis again today. We're going to be analyzing what he's talking about and making sense of everything. Yeah, there's David Burkett as well. Jesus, the devs. There's Lushan. There's Aldo. There's Robert Coleman. There's David Schwartz. There's Alan. Of course, there's Johnny Litecoin. There are lots of people. Honestly, there are a million different people that are extremely intelligent in this space. There's Million as well. There's a lot. I can't go through everybody. Okay, so let's just go straight to what we're supposed to talk about. Okay, and that's Are Not Gifted's thesis. So you definitely should go ahead and follow Are Not Gifted. You're not gonna regret it. Because he makes a lot of very optimistic price predictions, but what I find very valuable about Are Not Gifted is the thesis behind it, because these things can help you understand what the speculative interest drivers or the adoption drivers behind Litecoin can possibly be. Something I definitely like and something I think you like, and if you don't like it, it's fine, but he's someone you definitely should give a follow if you're interested in learning very intelligently put stuff about Litecoin. So now we're going to go into the psychology of rotation by Are Not Gifted. And this is his latest. I don't know if I should call it just an article or a thesis. I like to refer it as a thesis. But maybe if you want to call it an article, that's fine. But this is actually very brilliant. This is something that I'm just going to give a little bit of a backstory, right? The moment I read this, I read it the moment I woke up, and immediately I read it. It's almost like this thing actually spoke to me and probably my journey with regards to me, just getting out of all of these bullshit coins and just rotating into Litecoin. And I really do, I really relate with what he's saying here, and I think a lot of it is very logical. And I think a lot of people also relate with some of the things he's talking about here. So we're gonna start with this one. So I'm just gonna read and give some of my thoughts, and that's what we're gonna be doing here. So if you're here with me, buckle up. Let's enjoy the psychology of rotation by Are Not Gifted. So it's an 8-minute read, so it's definitely going to be very interesting. And once we're done with that, of course, we're going to be looking at where exactly we are with regards to LTC against the metals. So we're going to be looking at LTC silver, LTC gold, and of course LTC USD. Anyways, now the market feels dead right now. There's some fear for crypto market participants, but mostly this whole market feels disengaged. The surface level anxiety is stemming from 4-year cycle theories still holding, but underneath that, it feels more like indifference. People aren't arguing much. They're not celebrating. It feels like everyone is waiting, but most of what people are waiting for hinges on correlations holding when they never were absolute drivers of price. Now, I think this is what it feels like right before people change how they're positioned because they are uncomfortable. Rotation doesn't start with conviction like most people think. It starts with psychological pain. Rotation is psychological. Now, rotation is usually explained as a mechanical. Oh boy, as a mechanical. Where did I see the A? Rotation is usually explained as mechanical. Capital moves from large caps to small caps because valuations say it should. One asset gets expensive, another gets cheap, and money flows accordingly. That explanation sounds decent, but it doesn't describe how it actually happens. If people rotated when models told them to, markets would be smooth and continuous, and this cycle would have followed everyone's expectations, and all those people would have made money. Obviously, it doesn't work like that. Most relocations happen later than when they should, and mostly out of pain, not predetermined conviction. People stay committed long after the fundamentals change, then move together once staying put starts to feel like a choice when it never felt like that before. It's the cost of maintaining the story. This is the most important piece to understand. Humans have limited focus, and so typically there's one to a few stories that dominate headlines in a bull market. For example, AI in this current equities bull market, means 2023 to 2024, you know the rest. Front running the dominant story is hard, but it leads to the biggest outsized returns. If you've been following me, you already know which story I think will dominate headlines and the next move higher in crypto markets. But I need to reframe why I believe that. Okay, this is very interesting. I think this is gonna be very interesting. Reading it again it still feels like I just read it for the first time. So I like this. I've discussed the fundamental reasons for years, but I haven't explained the most important piece of what will actually sustainably drive momentum for this story much. We know these markets are heavily driven by psychology. We're speculating in a market with a potential TAM in the tens of trillions, with some assets in singular billion-dollar market capitalizations today. So the range of future expectations is all over the place. It makes sense that this market is so volatile, and it makes sense that it can be very mispriced. So let's talk about what I believe will actually lead to a violent and unsustainable repricing. We make decisions mostly out of fear and greed, but fear or pain is a much stronger motivating factor that can lead to outsized rally. I'd argue that that's what drove Bitcoin early on. Not necessarily belief, but fear of missing out if the Bitcoin people were actually right. But stories built upon false narratives inevitably die. Up until this point, holding Bitcoin has felt easy, not just financially, but psychologically. We've created a horde of believers that assume that as long as they ride out the volatility, they're guaranteed to make money. Sailor is even convinced. But these stories have breaking points. As time progresses, holding something will stop feeling easy. Again, not financially, but mentally. The explanations will and already are taking more effort. The coincidence stop coming naturally, and you start defending instead of expressing. And that's when behavior begins to change. And I think this is something I am looking forward to. This thing that he said here, the pain that actually comes as a result of the gradual breaking down of the absolute certainty that the Bitcoin guys have in their story. It's actually something I'm looking forward to. I'm going to say that is my main motivating factor in staying in this Litecoin space. Not a lot of people actually might know this, but there's a low-key spike that is in my mind with regards to people talking with absolutions when making any statement about the space. And it's just driven by confidence, and a confidence that is actually very dangerous, and I mean historically evident, right, to be dangerous. You know, when people are absolutely confident about things that aren't really based in any form of fundamental foundation, for example, stories like, oh, Bitcoin is going to forever remain number one, or is going to forever remain unchallenged because, oh, immaculate conception, oh, the value is up and other values are down, and all of these things that really don't hold water, as opposed to, oh, Bitcoin is going to remain number one, you know, as a measure thanks to its network effect. Well, such stories are not going to last forever. That's just the truth. But then you see the Bitcoin camp, these guys, they speak with statements of absolution when alluding to these things. They say these things that make very little sense about how Bitcoin's dominance will continue to be guaranteed by the mere virtue of the price already, you know, being like the highest, and its valuation already being the highest. And so when looking at these guys and their absolute conviction, one of the things I've been trying to, or I'm kind of like waiting for is the breakdown of this conviction, the humbling of this absolute certainty that exists in the mind of these people. Oh my God, why am my eyes are twitching there? The breakdown in the absolute confidence that exists in the minds of these people. That's what I'm really looking forward to, because I believe that will be the thing that will really show us whether or not these people really believe these things that they believe, or just as Earned is saying here, if it's whether or not it's just convenient. It's just convenient for them because, well, holding Bitcoin has been easy. Because a lot of times when I hear these guys talk, it's almost like they don't understand that the reason why they're so confident and they're so sure about what you're talking about is because their portfolio has been passively agreeing to it. It's sort of like being this validator of whatever idea they have, this unchallenged validator of whatever ideas that they're perpetuating. And yeah, just like it says, again, up until this point, holding Bitcoin has felt easy. And I'm very optimistic, or I'm really looking forward to the days when holding Bitcoin will not be as easy as it is, especially compared to how other assets are going to be performing. And I believe that the assets that have the strongest capacities to actually take away this confidence from these Bitcoin guys, from these guys that have this absolute certainty about Bitcoin, are assets that are positioned in a way to directly compete with Bitcoin. The Litecoin, the Moneros, the Bitcoin Cash, even the Dogecoin. The Zcash. I'm sorry, Doge. I'm really sorry for mentioning Doge, but you know what I mean. The store of value monies that are completely fairly launched and have grown in a natural way, way that represents natural network effects. And that's why I believe staying in this Litecoin game matters more to me than just whenever Litecoin goes up. It matters to me that I get to see what Ernest is talking about here, the psychological switch that would come when it stops becoming convenient, when it starts becoming easy to hold Bitcoin over the other monetary assets that are in direct competition with it. And that's actually something that I relate to here. So we're just going to talk about more. Now, discomfort comes before decisions. People don't wake up one morning and decide to rotate. They tolerate friction for a long time. They excuse inefficiencies. They adjust expectations to protect positions they already hold. But eventually, the cognitive dissonance crosses an individual's pain threshold. At first, it shows up as irritation, not fear. You can see this publicly in subtle ways. Support for dominant figures soften. Yes, this is actually happening with Michael Saylor. I remember, it's so funny that right now, it's kind of common knowledge, the fact that Michael Saylor is not like well liked. I mean, very obviously, it just sounds like a common sense thing not to worship Michael Saylor today. But this was not the case like eight months ago. Like 8 months ago, when Bitcoin was breaking all-time highs, breaking 100K, going to 120K, like riding Michael Saylor's cojones was very, very normal. It was so normal. Like he was absolutely adored. He was absolutely worshipped. But now that MSTR has not been going up, there are threats of MSTR getting kicked out of major indexes. Now you're seeing what Aaron is talking about here in the subtle ways that the support for Michael Saylor is softening. Now it's very commonplace to see Bitcoin focused pages talk bad about Michael Saylor. It's very commonplace. Now you're seeing dominant figures in the Bitcoin space talk about why Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy is risky, or is this, or is that, and the sort of exaltation of Michael Saylor to a near mythical status has waned, and this is what he's talking about here. And I think that these are in fact the conditions that just that primes the mind of these guys that have been absolute supporters of Bitcoin in a way that opens them to the possibility of accepting Litecoin or rotates into Litecoin. And that's why I'm very happy that Zcash did what it did. I said this again. Zcash starts a conversation that Litecoin wins from. It's an uncomfortable conversation that Bitcoin maximalists have believed, they've sworn to themselves that they will never face a conversation about whether or not Bitcoin still has a competitor. Because everyone is sort of like accepted that Bitcoin doesn't have a competitor, case closed. Bitcoin is one store of value, case closed. And Zcash has started it. And now what Ernst is talking about here in terms of the support for dominant figures like Michael Saylor softening is starting to kick in. And the conditions are starting to ripen for Litecoin's time. Let's continue. Now, I'm just gonna go with the last sentence again. So you can see this publicly in subtle ways. Support for dominant figures softens. For example, I see the same people who supported Saylor a year ago already distancing themselves. Exactly what I said. Rhetoric becomes less enthusiastic. Distance gets created without confrontation. This is the same pattern you see in politics when tides begin to turn. The smartest participants reposition early without making a show of it. Explanations start to require more qualifiers. The dominant story still exists, but it takes more work to repeat. It's very funny, right? Because MicroStrategy did make the suggestion that they were possibly going to be adding cash USD, reserves to the balance sheet. It's taking more effort to continue to keep the story, going. But anyways, let's continue. So a few people will make small adjustments and they don't announce it to the world. They won't change their identity. They want optionality privately. Fear makes people exit, but psychological unease makes people prepare. By the time rotation is obvious, the psychological decision has already been made. Now, here's where story is detached from reality. Every market runs on a gap between narrative and reality. The gap is normal, and it's where speculation lives. But it only works as long as the story still points in the general direction of how the asset will actually be used in the future. When that gap stretches too far, the story doesn't collapse immediately. It gets louder. This is interesting because for the longest of time, Bitcoin has been trading so far away, multiples above its actual monetary demand. But it just didn't matter anymore, right? The proponents of Bitcoin just kept getting louder and louder. But yeah, more confident, extremely absolute, and loudly defensive. This is exactly what we've witnessed in Bitcoin maximalism as it's grown. And reality doesn't argue back. It just keeps behaving the way it always has. At this point, the market no longer needs mass exits to move. It only needs small repositioning, because when relative valuation becomes extreme, neutrality becomes disruptive. Very, 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 very powerful. Honestly, very powerful. You look at the ratio, the BTC LTC ratio, and you see the value gap in these assets. It just neutrality amongst a few Bitcoin maximalists, and not a full porting over to the Litecoin side. Just neutrality, just a little reallocation, a little shifting of some of the assets towards Litecoin, because it's of course extremely detached. The valuation gap is just so much. That neutrality will be so disruptive that it could lead to a very violent breakout for Litecoin in a way that could just start this cascade, this falling dominoes that can lead to a very violent repricing from Litecoin. Um, you know, because when relative valuation becomes extreme, neutrality becomes disruptive. Now, this is why inflection points don't require everyone to change their mind, but just require enough people to feel discomfort at the same time. And now we go to the apology phase. Now, there is a phase assets go through that doesn't get discussed at all. It's when people spend more time explaining why something is fine than actually using it. You've been hearing phrases over the last year like, it's not really meant for that anymore. You don't actually need to use it. That's not the point. Again, this phase is this very, very common. Like you see people talking about, oh, well, Bitcoin doesn't get used, but well, it's now a treasury asset. Well, now it's just a store of value. It doesn't really need to be money to be able to be useful or to be able to retain its value or blah, blah, blah. And when I hear these people say this thing, again, I always ask myself, like, what is really the driver of this thing? Is it an actual conviction or just a convenient statement? Because, well, the price of Bitcoin has been conveniently following that narrative. The price of Bitcoin offers the convenience to be able to make, statements of stupidity like that. I mean, that P2P decentralized money is not being used enough, and that's somehow irrelevant. Let's continue. Whether these statements are coherent or not is not the issue. What matters is why they're being said. What's motivating people to say them? They're not as, oh boy, I just ran away. What? I just ran away from there. I have to take it back. I have to take this back. Okay. Now let's go. Whether these statements are coherent or not isn't the issue. What matters is why they're being said, what's motivating people to say them. There are not as much explanations for newcomers as they are reassurances for holders. Okay, I think I read that wrong. There are not as much explanation for newcomers as they are reassurances for holders to maintain conviction. This is the apology phase, when belief hasn't collapsed yet, but it's under strain. Language has stepped in to cover the growing gap between lived experience and narrative. Markets can tolerate inefficiency for a very long time, but individuals struggle with prolonged cognitive dissonance. Over time, those gaps compound, and they have to an extreme I never thought would get to. Interesting. Now, why it doesn't take much to turn the market. People assume large moves require large flows. That's usually wrong at inflection points. When positioning is crowded and belief is uniform, markets become fragile, and especially fragile if the narrative is wrong, because everyone is learning the same way and the future points in the opposite direction. At that point, even tiny reallocations will have enormous outsized effects. This doesn't feel like panic. It feels like diversification. It's people who are already committed to the permissionless. It's people who are already committed to the permissionless money narrative and want exposure to that future, but deciding they don't want other exposure resting on a story that is strained. Those early reallocations matter because speculation only has so much runway. When that gap between today and the new mental model of the future becomes extreme, especially when expectations are probably detached from reward use, which is the sole variable that drives price long term, price won't immediately collapse, but individuals will search for coherence. Most participants will still want exposure to the underlying idea. Their models just diverge from reality. That divergence creates psychological pain, and that pain forces reallocation towards the solution that resolves the friction. So we're going to be going into the next phase, the next phase in this article, which is why an unpopular asset rallying creates unease. Oh boy, and this is perhaps my favorite segment in the whole article. Why an unpopular asset rallying creates unease. Now, the market has seen plenty of altcoin rallies in air quotes. Doge, NFTs, DeFi, Ethereum. Those didn't create existential stress because they didn't directly threaten the core narrative. They could be dismissed as speculation, innovation at the edges, or different categories altogether. They didn't compete for the same role. And this is what, bro, this hits so hard because this is, bro, I'm not gifted. You tap to the core of my soul. I think I speak for a lot of Litecoiners when I say this is exactly what, like, why does no one else that is not like in the Litecoin community see this? Every single altcoin rally we've had up until today has not threatened the core narrative. Nothing has threatened Bitcoin yet. And why isn't anyone asking themselves the question of what will be able to threaten Bitcoin and what would that look like? Why aren't people seeing that the only asset that has the capacity to cause unease for Bitcoiners is Litecoin? It is quite literally Bitcoin maximalist nightmare. Why do you think they hate it? Why do you think they fear it? Even when it's so small, it's $6 billion compared to like Bitcoin's 2 trillion dollars. Yet it terrifies them to the core. Do you really believe that the market won't explore the fears of the Bitcoin maximalists? Do you really believe their nightmares will not become reality? Do you really believe that your absolute certainties will not get challenged? Does the market really believe this? Why are more people not asking themselves that question? There's only one asset that will give Bitcoin a run for his money. And that's why I'm absolutely convinced. I don't care how long it takes. I quite literally don't give a fuck. I'm sorry, I had to swear, because I really do not care how long it takes. Because I know that at some point, Bitcoin will have to face a significant challenge. The confidence, the absolute conviction that drives the ideas of maximalism will get challenged. And Litecoin is the only coin that is positioned to do that. Why aren't people paying attention to that? CoinMarketCap is extremely misleading. CoinGecko, these coin ranking apps, they're tools for mass distraction because they do not allow people to see the real thing. All of these coins are not altcoins. Not all altcoins are equal. They're not all going for the same thing. Ethereum, Sui, Solana, Link, whatever the freak it is, cannot challenge the Bitcoin narrative. They cannot. The only altcoin that can is Litecoin, or the only altcoins that can are Litecoin, of course, Bitcoin Cash, of course, Monero, and all of that. But Litecoin is the best position because it already has the network effect. It already has all of the access to institutional capital. It's already well established. The history, it's there. You know, every single thing is there. All it needs is a catalyst. So, like, when people are looking at the CoinMarketCap ranking, I believe this is why they're not seeing this, because that ranking, that tool for absolute distraction, is clouding their judgment. It's blocking their ability to see the obvious. Litecoin is not any altcoin. Litecoin is Bitcoin maximalist worst nightmare. Litecoin is the threat to the absolute convictions that Bitcoin maximalists speak with. And believe me, the market will exploit that. The market will humble the Bitcoin maximalist. If you really know this, you really have that inkling, that feeling, that sensation that one day the market will in fact humble Bitcoin maximalists, then Litecoin is your horse. Litecoin is the tool to humbling Bitcoin maximalists. You have to see this. You need to see it. Oh boy, I'm not gifted is really, really touching my heart with this article. I believe this is a mud trade. I'm gonna continue to talk about this article as much as I can because I believe this can really get people to see exactly what it is about that can actually drive this, and exactly the psychological processes that's going to go into, you know, shaping this narrative, you know, pushing this narrative change, and leading to the challenge of the Bitcoin core idea, the Bitcoin core narrative. But let's continue. Now, an unpopular asset rallying inside the same market sector, categorically different and never, okay, I think I read that wrong. An unpopular asset rallying inside the same market sector, categorically different and never really been seen with long-term data that supports an entirely new story. It won't feel like noise. It will feel like encroachment. When something people wrote off starts gaining traction where they've trained themselves to believe it shouldn't, it introduces a problem you can't ignore without effort. It changes hierarchy, not just valuation. Bro, I'm gonna read that again. I think I should read that again. Now, it won't feel like noise. It will feel like encroachment. When something people wrote off starts gaining traction where they've trained themselves to believe it shouldn't, it introduces a problem you can't ignore without effort. It changes hierarchy, not just valuation. That's why this kind of move doesn't feel exciting to most. It feels destabilizing. And we move to the next section of this, which is when staying put starts to hurt. Now, for over a decade, the market has been trained to believe one thing is permanent, that dominance is safety, that allocating elsewhere is risk. Once that story weakens, even slightly, neutrality disappears. Staying fully committed stops feeling passive. It starts feeling like a choice that never felt like a choice before because price action strengthened the story up until it felt invincible, which is exactly when it's weakest. The people who haven't moved at all will feel it first. They're not losing money necessarily, they're losing comfort. They check prices more often. Defensiveness increases. Irritation replaces confidence. This is when psychology certainly starts slipping. That discomfort is personal. Each holder feels it individually, not as a crowd. And markets move on individual pain long before they move on consensus. I think this is going to reflect whenever Litecoin starts breaking out against Bitcoin. It's going to be very chaotic at first because all of this pain, all of this, the entropy that is going to be coming into play in the early stages of this reversal will be very violent. It's going to be a long swing. And that is why I've said this in previous streams that personally I have a narrative target. I have a sentiment target. And I believe a very good thing to pay attention to is, you know, again, it's the psychological positioning of the minds of people, of the things that people say that you should pay attention to. And, you know, this is not financial advice, but I personally believe that a smart thing to do is, you know, if you've held on, you fought, you know, alongside the Litecoin community, you stood your ground, you've not fallen for the noise or any of the bullshit, and you've held on to Litecoin this long enough, well, it's just smart to hold through all of that noise that's going to come, you know, with all of the entropy that's going to start once the reversal starts up until the point where consensus is reached, at least amongst a certain group of people that you know generally were, you know, talking positively about Litecoin. And, you know, at that time, you would see the consensus reflect in the price. It starts to feel very comfortable very high valuations. And that might be a good time to start allocating to important things for your life, like, I don't know, getting a house, getting a car, higher education, whatever is important. Like, swapping back to fiat doesn't sound sensible to me, but you get the point, right? Now, sentiment targets should be able to help you guide the decisions you make whenever the reversal starts happening. But again, that's just something I wanted to chip in here before we move to the next one. So now this is how pain turns into price. When someone reduces exposure to relieve discomfort, they don't think of it as rotation. They think of it as risk management. The market doesn't care. Price responds to marginal pressure, not ideology. And when the gap between today's price and tomorrow's reality is large enough, those marginal adjustments reinforce each other. Price moves just enough to increase discomfort for those who stayed. That discomfort oh boy, that discomfort causes small reallocations. Those reallocations move price again, and this is how a new story begins. It's not about belief, it's relief. And that moves price far more aggressively than conviction. People don't chase it at first, they use it to escape tension. It will likely be indiscriminate buying, a get me at whatever price feeling. And yeah, I think that's something I'm definitely looking forward to. Why this phase feels uneasy instead of euphoria? Yeah, euphoria rewards loyalty and confirms identity. We've seen that countless times in crypto when price finally moves after long periods of belief and patience. Did I read that right? I will read again. Euphoria rewards loyalty and confirms identity. We've seen that countless times in crypto when price finally moves after long periods of belief and patience. This phase does the opposite for the vast majority of participants. It punishes rigidity. The old story hasn't collapsed, but it no longer provides psychological shelter. The new one isn't celebrated yet, but it works better. That yields an uncomfortable feeling of unease in people who thought they won the game already. The present goes from the feeling like you won to no longer comfortable quickly. That's the condition that actually drives sustainable market change. Now, how this always looks later. Once a new equilibrium forms, the discomfort fades. The story tightens. Confidence returns. Memory adjusts. People say it was obvious. People say it was obvious, bro. A lot of things I'm looking forward to. A lot of things I'm looking forward to. Oh my God. I'm looking forward to the days people are going to look back at Litecoin, look at everything, and just be like, how did I even miss this? Right. And we're going to have talking heads all over MSM, CNBC and Fox Business and whatnot, all talking about how, yeah, I mean, Litecoin's always done this, Litecoin's always done that. I mean, it was a no-brainer. But those are things I'm looking forward to. Now, people say it was obvious that they always knew. It's how people preserve coherence and identity after the fact. And by that time, when the news story feels logical, it's probably almost over. I wonder how people. It's very funny. Like life has ironies that always repeat it. It always repeats itself. For example, very common patterns continue to replicate themselves in society. That when you observe these patterns, you know that these things have happened before. The participants of the same patterns that has very negative outcomes are in fact aware that, well, such patterns that they're replicating have historically yielded negative outcomes. Yet they continue to replicate such patterns. It's very strange. For example, people deciding to gamble, just throw all of their life into pure casino gambling. And of course, they know how these things have turned out for people who want to casino to just gamble. But it still happens. It's like, and you see them doing it, and they still do it, and you know where their life is going towards, and they, for some reason, can't seem to stop it. It's the same with getting into drugs and so many other things. It's the same with overlooking something that is so fundamentally strong, and taking so much effort to convince yourself that that thing is worth nothing. And you know that every time people have done that in history, they've ended up missing out on life-changing opportunities. They know that. These people that continue to dismiss Litecoin, they know that. They know the consequence of dismissing something that is so fundamentally strong in terms of the level of opportunity you're eventually going to miss when the rotation happens. They know that you're eventually going to be locked up, late to the story whenever it happens. But it's very funny that, well, history is going to repeat itself again. And these ironies are going to continue to repeat themselves in society. And when you're outside looking in, when you're analyzing everything, and you're seeing the way things are going, and you just wonder to yourself, why aren't people seeing this thing value? Because then you have to remember that irony is a live version of the at least kind of miss out on outside opportunities by perpetuating patterns that have actually been missing out such a things, patterns that have existed in history. They know have existed in history, but they still because it is what it is. It's just what's going to happen. It's going to happen. And by the way, they know it's not convenient. They know it's never easy to be early to something, but they don't want to go through that uneasy phase to be early to something that's worthwhile. It's very sickening. Like I see people that go ahead and say, "Oh, look at Litecoin. The price is so low. All the fundamentals are good, but the price is so low. Isn't that supposed like aren't you gonna be concerned if the price is so high, but the fundamentals are good? Like, doesn't that scream opportunity to you? Like, that it screams opportunity, and that if that opportunity eventually realizes and you're not part of it, you're gonna miss out on it. You're gonna miss out. That conditions where people ignore fundamental, strong fundamentals in an asset, for whatever reasons, actually leads to them missing out on this opportunity. Yet you decide to miss out of it. On it, this breaks my heart how people can't really see these things that are not gifted as highlighting here. But we're gonna continue now. What silence means. Markets are loud at extremes. They're quiet during transitionary phases and at inflection points. Low social interest doesn't mean nothing is happening. It often means the old framework has stopped working. And the new one hasn't been named yet, both for macro cycle theory and individual dominant narratives within crypto. This is the phase where price moves before belief. Behavior changes before language does, and people feel off before they understand why. Zcash gives us a very, micro view of this thing is. Zcash started going out, hating on it. Oh, the Zcash scam pump, blah blah blah, and then, oh yeah, privacy. yeah, I mean Zcash because of privacy, and then you're holding on Binance. Anyways, yeah. The important shifts don't announce themselves. You recognize them only when the input stops feeling obvious and starts feeling like a choice you have to live with for the rest of your life. Earned, not gifted. This is a beautiful piece that I believe everyone should individually go through. I see Aztec in the chat. Shout out to you, Aztec. Welcome to the chat. Appreciate you for stopping by. You're an absolute legend. Shout out to you, bro, for stopping by. So, yeah, if you want to read this article, then I'm gonna link it to. I'm gonna copy the link and I'm gonna put it under the replay of the stream. So if you're watching from YouTube, then it's going to be in the link in the description somewhere. And if you're joining us from X, then it's definitely going to be linked. It's going to be commented under the post of this live stream. And just reading this article, yeah, I think is what most Litecoiners need, especially those of us that have been in this space for years. I mean, when I'm in this space, I'm always cognizant of the fact that a lot of people have been here before me, a decade before I was here, right? And at this point, right, it's getting harder and harder to ignore the opportunity costs that have been attached to, you know, holding Litecoin over Bitcoin over the past decade. And we're getting to a point where, even though we're very close to a point of inflection where, everything shifts in favor of Litecoin, getting all the ETFs, getting all the integrations, expanding in adoption and utility, it's still feeling very difficult to hold Litecoin for most people that have been here for much longer. And I'd like to implore people like that, y'all legends before me, to try to read this article and, just maybe it means something to you. Maybe it explains some patterns that you would notice, and some patterns that you might need to pay attention to. Maybe it just helps you embrace your conviction more. But whatever it is, I believe reading the article is very important, very interesting, it's very intellectually stimulating, and will at least add something to whatever ideas you already had, or whatever understanding you already had about how the Litecoin reckoning is going to come. Litecoin reckoning is going to come. It's inevitable, and yeah, it's something that I'm very excited to. I'm looking forward to. I really believe again that what I'm looking forward to the most, and I've reiterated this before, is I'm looking forward to the breakdown and the absolute conviction that exists in the minds of Bitcoin maximalists. And this this article by Arnaud that really helps put that into perspective. How that's going to happen, and I think that's really good. So yeah, moving into the next thing I said I was going to do on the stream. What I said I was going to go into LTC versus metals. So we're just going to briefly look at where LTC is versus metals, because I believe it's something that we need to look at. Right. In one of the previous streams, I did talk about how Litecoin was in fact the only altcoin that has a structured chart against metals, and you can go do it for yourself. Go try plotting XRP silver or XRP gold, Ethereum silver, Ethereum gold, Solana, Chainlink, Cardano, any altcoin against metals. There is no structure for these altcoins against metals. But go do the same for Litecoin. Go do the same for Bitcoin. You will see clear structures for Litecoin against these metals, and the same for Bitcoin. So Litecoin is the only altcoin that has a correlative move against these metals, I believe. I'm not going to go into that today because we have limited time. I really want to end the stream in the next 10 minutes, 12 minute max. So yeah, I'm just going to touch on exactly where we are with regards to LTC silver and LTC gold, because I believe that's what we really need to just look at, just update ourselves on, know what we're expecting and whatnot. So here we are, LTC silver. Oh boy. Now I did have LTC silver, and I'm gonna try to load this up. I did have LTC silver marked, but that has to be the LTC silver the trade and view version. So I'm just going to try to do that again. Bring back the LTC USD and the trade and view version right now. that has to be, I have to bring the trading view version up, and then I have to plot that against silver. I really hope this doesn't cause some glitch right now. I really hope this doesn't catch. Oh boy, I'm glitching, isn't it? Just try to load one website. Anyways, this is we're getting towards the final days of any form of glitch. So be happy, boys. Celebrate. No glitch no more, son. Mhm. So we're gonna look at it against silver. So I have this structure that I drew here. Okay, yeah, still forms. Okay, and here we go. So this is oh, whatever. Still open the Coinbase version, but whatever. I think you can see the point where we are against. Hmm. So you can see exactly where we are. LTC silver. So yeah, I gotta turn up, bro. I need to turn up my. Now that I'm done talking about the thesis of earn not gifted, I think I need to switch back to my obnoxious mode. Okay, enough of seriousness. Enough of seriousness, bro. I need to get back to being. So freaking dumb. I have kind of bad background music for this. Let's look at LTC versus the metals, and we're gonna call this stream a day. I believe that's what we need to do. So yeah. So let's look at this. Yeah, the way I'm never gonna pay for freaking yeah trading view. So yeah, you can see LTC structure against silver. I've said this in multiple streams that LTC against metals have been our predicament with regards to Litecoin against USD. We were very bearish against the metals for a very long time, and even though we were very bullish against USD for a very, very long time, so I'm gonna try to load that as well. All of this got quickly. All this seems to be clean. They reset. But I thought I loaded that in the background. Hoo. Gotta look at this. Holy shit! I love this my LCC diagram. I think it simplifies stuff and just gives us more room for, I don't know, more consolidation. Like it just gives Litecoin more leeway for it to stay alive and consolidate a little longer without feeling the absolute pressure of just breaking out right now. It just takes the pressure of now or never away from Litecoin. And I think that's why I really like my diagram for Litecoin. I'm going to show it now. So yeah, like I highlight here, we have been very bullish against against USDs. So this we've been higher low since 2018 practically. But then against gold, we've been testing support and actually making lower highs progressively against gold. It's been the same against silver. Been testing support, and we've been making lower highs against silver. Go check other altcoins versus metals. You will not see a proper structure like this. Wallahi, there is no proper structure like this from other altcoins. There is no rotation happening between metals and other altcoins. I strongly believe the only rotation happening between metals and crypto is happening between Litecoin and Bitcoin and these metals. Nothing for the other altcoins. Like, y'all have no idea how massive Litecoin is, honestly. I feel like patterns like this can help put that into perspective. But yeah, this has been our predicament. Bullish against USD, higher progressive, higher lows, but we've just been testing support here and lower highs here. But what is very strange about Litecoin's current position. It's almost like the entire market is just moving because of Litecoin. It's almost like as if the entire market is moving specifically because of Litecoin. It's very strange, but you can see, like I said, you can look at how we have actually broken down here. We have broken down against silver on this structure, and you can see that we had multiple tests of this support level, and then we broke down. And I think this is about to be our second monthly close below silver. So that is where we are right now. And against gold, we have also done the same thing. We've quite literally done the same thing against gold. I don't know why the structure isn't loading now, but I did have a structure on this one. If I try to load it, it's definitely gonna lag my connection, but whatever. I'm gonna have to reload it again because I want my structure to show. Or I'm just gonna draw another one. I'm just gonna try to another support one here, so the string doesn't have to lag. Oh boy, give me my freaking let me draw this. It's not even, oh boy, I need to reload this. What is this glitching? Anyways, like I was saying, so yeah, we're breaking down against gold, we're breaking down against silver, but we are somehow holding up against USD. It's a very strange trilemma. It's a very strange. Oh boy, you mother. Oh boy, y'all are gonna make me swear live. This is supposed to be LTC USD against gold. Why are you showing me LTC USD alone? Like, bro, like y'all gotta get a hold of yourself, bro. What is your problem? Show me LTC against gold. Perfect. Jeez, is that so hard? Was that so hard? Anyways, yeah, like I was saying, the very big trilemma or dilemma, however you put it, is the fact that we have been breaking down against silver, breaking the silver structure, of course, respecting it. It's been now breaking down against gold, right? And this is our third, or I think our second monthly close, yeah, below this for gold as well. We haven't broken down against USD. The HTF structure remains intact. I don't think I showed that. So I'm gonna show it again. Oh boy, what was that? I just made a mistake with that. Okay, I have to show it again. So this is LTC silver, and this is LTC silver, and yeah, we have been breaking down from this support level, and we've had two monthly closes down from it. And this is LTC gold. This is LTC gold. We have been breaking down from this HTF at 2 monthly closes below. And this is LTC USD. For some strange reason, we remain very okay against USD. Metals look strong right now. Metals look strong right now. All this macro fraud is blustering gold and silver IMO. Yeah, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I think that's a story now that's selling on on mainstream. There's a lot of focus on metals, and I think that whenever all that momentum goes away, whenever it slows down, the rotation from metals to crypto is going to be moving exclusively to Litecoin. It's a very bold claim, but it's one I'm very confident in because again, I said this: go try to plot any other altcoin, and I'm serious. Go do it for yourself. Go try plotting Solana against gold against silver. Do the same for XRP against gold against silver. Do the same for Chainlink. Do the same for Cardano. Do the same for Ethereum. Do the same for any other altcoin against gold and silver. There's no proper structure between these other altcoins versus metals. There's none. There's only a proper structure between Litecoin and these metals. It's a very ridiculous discovery that I found out a few streams ago. And yeah, metals are strong right now, but once that rotation starts coming, Litecoin is definitely, in my opinion, going to be the biggest winner. So yeah. So, but yeah, I think it's still very strange, very strange. Again, look at us. We are intact against USD. We are intact. We haven't broken this HTF, which I believe we need to. And I'm expecting a scare. I believe we do fall down here all the way to 54 to create a bear trap. Whenever the reversal wants to start, I believe we need to get the bear trap and probably one more nasty leg against these metals to just get people wrecked before a brutal reversal. I think that would make sense with the way the market is positioned, but it's just rather strange. We've broken down against silver, like you can see here. Just the support is not loading here because my ISPs, but you can sort of see the support where we've been testing this range, and we've broken down. So same against gold, we've broken down the HTF support, we've broken down, but we're still magically intact against USD somehow, just somehow. So that just goes to show that our predicament has been these guys. LTC USD against silver, Litecoin against silver, Litecoin against gold. They have not been bullish for years now. That is why no matter how bullish LTC USD have been, they just could not, LTC USD could not catch a bid. LTC USD just couldn't catch a bid because LTC was not bullish against metals. We're not bullish against silver. We're not bullish against gold. But now that is starting to change, I believe that seeing, I said now that started to change. Oh my God, it's not starting to change. Sorry. But once that starts to change, the moment we start becoming bullish against these metals, it's going to be very violent upside for Litecoin. It's going to be a very violent one. Probably one that sends us to very insane valuations, but I believe the move from where we are into the point where we now flip bullish against metals is going to be extremely explosive and one that you cannot afford to miss, right? It comes with so much risk. I mean, what if we just continue to bleed against gold or silver? It comes with that risk, but the reversal happens. If you want to stay on the side and wait for us to flip bullish against metals before you come back, you have to know that for us to flip bullish, for example, okay, let's look at us flipping bullish against gold. What's it gonna look like if we flip bullish against gold? It's probably gonna look like us just having, probably one more red candle against gold, and then, probably a February bullish engulfing candle that takes us above the 0.07. And that's when we're gonna start trying to form a new structure of bullishness against gold. Now, if that is when you believe you want to start allocating to Litecoin, then you need to understand that that's definitely going to be towards all-time highs. So that means you're going to be reallocating at all-time highs. So the best thing we can do here, again, this is not financial advice, right? This is just a dude talking on the internet. But yeah, I think the best we can do is just continue to watch this chart and watch Litecoin against metals to kind of give us an idea of what to expect. Just for expectation management, that's pretty much it. Because I do believe they give us very valuable insights with regards to where Litecoin might be headed. So, yep, I believe that's pretty much everything I want to talk about. Yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about. If you enjoyed this stream, I want to say thank you very much for joining me on stream today. I really appreciate you guys for showing up and for listening to my review of Earn Not Gifted's article. Shout out to Aztec Lead VM for showing up. Shout out to Master for showing up. Shout out to you guys. You guys are absolute legends. Love you guys. You guys are great. Once again, special thanks to the very special person that helped bring Starlink to life for Flipping Finance, that helped fund the Starlink purchase. I really appreciate you. Thank you. I guess that's all I can say. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And guys, the streams are gonna get less glitchy going forward because now we have Starlink, and of course the internet is definitely going to be a lot faster during the stream. So definitely something you guys have to look forward to. Anyways, we have come to the natural end of today's stream. If you did enjoy this stream, remember the Lite Hour live stream is one that we host on the Flipping Finance page every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, 5 p.m. EST. And it's a Litecoin dedicated live stream where we get to talk about Litecoin, everything Litecoin. We keep the Litecoin conversation going here. And so it's definitely one you need to tune into. Of course. Much love, bro. Great stream as always. Bro, appreciate your Aztec. You're a legend. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything you do for the Litecoin community. You guys lead team. You guys are absolutely wonderful people. It's a very positive future for Litecoin. Believe me, I'm very optimistic as always. Anyways, yeah, I have to go and get some rest, of course, because there's a lot of work I have to do tomorrow. So, bye-bye. I have to end the stream now. Bye-bye.